Of all these people, only one person said good morning back. Let's try. Good morning. Well done. Sound like a well-oiled chorus-ish. The hour of convening has arrived, and the Senate will now come to order, the moment we've all been waiting for. Chair would like to recognize his good friend, the well-remembered senator from the 53rd. We've already cut your mic.
And then, thank you, Mr. President. And I was honored yesterday for a lot of attention I received. You know, I'm always seeking attention, but I was really honored for yesterday. It's a rainy day outside. Of course, God given us rain, and we need it. Moment in history in 1775, Patrick Henry delivers his famous speech, "Give me liberty or give me death," in Virginia. Also, the first telephone was installed in the White House in 1929. It's been downhill ever since. The senator from the 24th told me it's National Puppy Day. It's his favorite day to run in his fields with puppy dogs right behind him. And Mr. President, I don't have anything else except to tell you the journal's been read and found to be correct.
Not that I suspect this to be the case, but did you notice anybody in the Journal retracting their kind words of you yesterday?
Negative.
They stood behind
in fact, we've had numerous other mementos and opinions put in there, all positive, of the senator from the 53rd.
Well done. Is there objection to dispensing with the reading of the Journal? The chair hears none, and the reading of the Journal is dispensed with. Is there objection to the confirmation of the Journal? The chair hears none, and the Journal is confirmed. All senators who have bills or resolutions, please bring them to the Secretary's desk at this time. Chair recognizes the senator from the 53rd with holding a committee meeting over there.
Oh, okay. Hang on. All right. Mr. President, I ask for unanimous consent that Senate Rule 4-2.1 be suspended to allow Senate Bill 633 to be read for the first time and referred to committee.
Mr. Secretary, can you please read the caption?
Senate Bill number 633 by Senator Mullis of the 53rd, a bill to be entitled an act to amend an act providing a new charter for the city of Ringgold, approved May 6, 2009, as amended, so as to revise the corporate limits of said city to provide for related matters, to repeal conflicting laws, and for other purposes. That completes the order, Mr. President.
The distinguished senator from the 53rd has asked for unanimous consent that the rules be suspended for Senate Bill 633 to be read for the first time and referred to committee. Is there objection? The chair hears none, and it is referred to state and local government. Mr. Secretary, will you please read reports of standing committees?
Mr. President, the Senate Committee on Appropriations has had under consideration the following legislation and has instructed me to report the same back to the Senate with the following recommendation. House Bill 1331, do pass. House Resolution 593, do pass. House Resolution 626, do pass. House Bill 911, do pass by substitute. Respectfully submitted, Senator Tillery of the 19th District Chairman. Mr. President, the Senate Committee on Health and Human Services has had under consideration the following legislation and has instructed me to report the same back to the Senate with the following recommendation. House Bill 412, do pass by substitute. House Bill 1069, do pass. House Bill 1425, do pass by substitute. Respectfully submitted, Senator Watson of the 1st District Chairman. Mr. President, the Senate Committee on Insurance and Labor has had under consideration the following legislation and has instructed me to report the same back to the Senate with the following recommendation. House Bill 1409, do pass. House Bill 1272, do pass by substitute. House Bill 733, do pass. House Bill 1297, do pass. Respectfully submitted, Senator Burke of the 11th District Chairman. Mr. President, the Senate Committee on Judiciary has had under consideration the following legislation and has instructed me to report the same back to the Senate with the following recommendation. House Bill 464, do pass. House Bill 624, do pass. House Bill 895, do pass. House Bill 1183, do pass. House Bill 1388, do pass. House Bill 1390, do pass. House Bill 1461, due pass by substitute. Respectfully submitted, Senator Strickland of the 17th District Chairman. Mr. President, the Senate Committee on Public Safety has had under consideration the following legislation and has instructed me to report the same back to the Senate with the following recommendation. House Bill 200, due pass. House Bill 246, due pass by substitute. House Bill 1307, due pass. House Bill 1232, due pass. House Bill 1146, due pass. Respectfully submitted, Senator Albers of the 56th District Chairman. Mr. President, the Senate Committee on Regulated Industries and Utilities has had under consideration the following legislation and has instructed me to report the same back to the Senate with the following recommendation. House Bill 1441, due pass. House Bill 1481, due pass. House Bill 1193, due pass. Respectfully submitted, Senator Cowsert of the 46th District Chairman. Mr. President, the Senate Committee on Rules has had under consideration the following legislation and has instructed me to report the same back to the Senate with the following recommendation. Senate Resolution 62, due pass by substitute. Senate Resolution 658, due pass by substitute. Senate Resolution 723, due pass. Senate Resolution 744, due pass. Respectfully submitted, Senator Mullis of the 53rd District Chairman. Mr. President, the Senate Committee on State and Local Government Operations has had under consideration the following legislation and has instructed me to report the same back to the Senate with the following recommendation. House Bill 796, due pass. Senate Bill 628, due pass. Senate Bill 629, due pass. Senate Bill 630, due pass. Senate Bill 631, due pass. Respectfully submitted, Senator Anderson of the 24th District Chairman. That completes the order, Mr. President.
Chair recognizes the senator from the 19th.
Thank you, Mr. President. I ask that the Senate Rule 4.26 for you. I apologize. I think it's working now. Mr. President, I ask unanimous consent that Senate Rule 4-2.6 be suspended to allow House Bill 911 to be read for a second time.
Ms. Secretary, please read the caption.
Senate Appropriations Committee substitute to House Bill 911. A bill to be entitled an act to make and provide appropriations for the state fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2022 and ending June 30th, 2023 to make and provide such appropriations for the operation of the state government and its departments, boards, bureaus, commissions, institutions, and other agencies for the university system, common schools, counties, and for other purposes. That completes the order, Mr. President.
Senator from the 9th. If I could get everyone's attention, we are busy trying to get a couple of bills in and out of the process. If we could have your attention and make sure that everybody's listening to what's going on here. Appreciate it. Senator from the 19th has asked for unanimous consent that the Senate rules be suspended and that House Bill 911, the budget, be read for a second time. Is there objection? The chair hears none. Mr. Secretary, will you please read House Bill 911 for the second time?
Senate Appropriations Committee substitute to House Bill 911, a bill to be entitled an act to make and provide appropriations for the state fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2022 and ending June 30th, 2023 to make and provide such appropriations for the operation of the state government and its departments, boards, bureaus, commissions, institutions, and other agencies and for other purposes. That completes the order, Mr. President.
Mr. Secretary, will you please read bills and resolutions for the second time?
House Bill 424 by Representative Williamson of the 115th and others, income tax, change certain definitions. House Bill 1088 by Representatives Gunter of the 8th and others, property, non-judicial foreclosure of timeshare estates, authorize. House Bill 1134 by Representative F. Straighton of the 104th and others, crimes and offenses, prosecute offenses involving criminal gang activity, provide for concurrent authority. House Bill 1188 by Representative Lott of the 122nd and others, criminal procedure, each act of child molestation charged as a separate offense, provide. House Bill 1224 by Representative Martin of the 49th and others, ad valorem tax, language required to be included in the notices of current assessment, revise. House Bill 1292 by Representative Jespersit of the 11th and others, education, prohibit students who participate in 4-H sponsored activities or programs from being counted as absent from school. House Bill 1357 by Representative Smith of the 18th and others, Professional Standards Commission, standards and procedures for certification programs, provisions. House Bill 1428 by Representative S. Straighton of the 104th, Code Revision Commission, revise, modernize, correct errors or omissions. House Resolution 594 by Representative Smith of the 70th and others, county and municipal governing authorities grant temporary tax relief to properties severely damaged or destroyed as a result of a disaster and located within a nationally declared disaster area, provide. That completes the order, Mr. President.
All right, it's now time for our morning roll call. Are there any motions to excuse? The chair recognizes his good friend from the 33rd.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good morning, y'all. I ask for unanimous consent to excuse the senator from the 22nd for business inside the Capitol.
Without objection, the senator from the 22nd is excused. The chair recognizes the senator from the 17th.
Thank you, Mr. President. I ask unanimous consent to excuse the senator from the 11th for business outside the chamber.
Without objection, the senator from the 11th is excused. Are there any additional motions to excuse? Secretary will call the roll. Senators, signify your presence by voting the yea switch. The secretary will unlock the machine. All right, we have a active crowd today. It's now time for a morning devotional. And I'd ask that all senators take your seats. Cease all audible conversations. And ask that the doorkeepers secure the chamber. It's my honor to recognize our good friend from Roswell to lead us in our pledge and to introduce to us our chaplain of the day.
Please join me in pledging the American flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And now the Georgia flag. I pledge allegiance to the Georgia flag and to the principles for which it stands, wisdom, justice, moderation, and courage. Good morning. I'm excited to introduce Reverend Jeff Myers, my fellow Roswell Rotarian. Jeff grew up in Spokane, Washington before attending the University of Washington in Seattle, where he received a degree in business administration. Side note, that is the Alberts School of Business, and it's no relation to me. After interning at the University Presbyterian Church, working in finance for the Boeing Company, and selling wholesale coffee, producing a radio show, and serving with a hospice care provider, Jeff attended Princeton Theological Seminary. He was awarded the Religious Society Fellowship for his writing and his work on Christian ethics and human rights. After graduating from Princeton Theological Seminary, Jeff served in college and young adult ministry in the North Avenue Presbyterian Church here in Atlanta for 10 years. In 2017, he came to Roswell Presbyterian Church. Jeff is a frequent guest speaker and has preached everywhere from Harvard to homeless shelters. He's a member of Roswell Rotary, as I mentioned earlier, the Cloud Appreciation Society, and sits on the board of the Drake House. Jeff is married to Courtney, who's an attorney with Alston Bird here in town, and their son Major is 3, and they have a 13-week-old baby girl named Memphis. Please welcome Reverend Jeff Myers.
Thank you so much, Senator Albers, for the invitation to come today, Lieutenant Governor Duncan for welcoming me to this sacred time of prayer and devotion. No one can hold a grudge like an 18-year-old frat boy. I was a member of Delta Upsilon fraternity at the University of Washington, and we called ourselves DUs. Our house sat right across the street from the Lambda Chi house. We hated these guys, and they hated us. They represented everything that was wrong in the world. They were arrogant, entitled, unchivalrous, and they listened to the Grateful Dead at ungodly volumes late into the night. We dehumanized these Lambda Chi's by calling them lamb chops. And they did the same by calling us Delta Oops, I joined the wrong fraternity. And our animosity was well earned. There was a story that many years ago they had stolen one of the rare pictures of our founding members, and we returned insult for insult, and we stole one of theirs. Things began to escalate one night. A beer bottle was thrown against our house. A beer bottle was thrown from our house against their house. Both houses emptied into the street and were ready to fight. Luckily, someone called the police. Things were broken up. While there were no punches thrown, the grudge simmered under the surface for years. And isn't that how the world is often split up between lamb chops and Delta Oopses? This happens in church, in sports, in our families, and even in politics. How easy it is to complain about hate and demonize each other. This is true even for people we have so much in common with. I was walking across the bridge the other day, and I saw a man standing on the edge of it, and he was about to jump. So I ran over to him, and I said, "Stop, don't do it." He said, "Why shouldn't I?" I said, "Well, there's so much to live for." He said, "Really, like what?" I said, "Are you religious?" He said, "Yes, I'm religious." I said, "Are you Christian or Buddhist?" He said, "Christian." I said, "Wow, me too." "Are you Catholic or Protestant?" He said, "Protestant." I said, "Wow, me too." "Are you Episcopalian or Baptist?" He said, "Baptist." I said, "Me too." "Are you Original Baptist or Reformed Baptist?" He said, "Reformed Baptist." I said, "Wow, me too." "Are you Reformed Baptist 1879 or Reformed Baptist 1915? He said, "Reformed Baptist 1915. I looked at him, pushed him off, and said, "Die, heretic scum." That joke by Emo Phillips was voted the #1 religious joke of all time. It expresses a reality we know all too well. We like to push people out. Others like to push us out. Even people we have so much in common with. We can split up the religious and political pie into almost infinitesimal slices. But how can we remember we have so much in common? How can we remember that we are fighting problems that are common to all of us? How can we move forward together while still finding dignity amongst our differences? Years ago, I was in New York City on the Lower East Side during the NCAA basketball tournament. Several friends from college and I wanted to go watch our beloved University of Washington play the University of Connecticut. Since we were in New York, the bar was full of University of Connecticut fans, and it was a hostile crowd, taunting and shouting, going back and forth, and we were alone there in the bar, and towards the second half, amongst all these Connecticut fans, Several guys walk in, and they stand next to us. We started chatting. We noticed they had Washington gear on. I said, "Where are you guys from?" They said, "Washington State." I said, "Wow, me too." "Where did you go to school?" They said, "The University of Washington." I said, "Wow, me too." "When did you graduate?" 2001. "Wow, me too." "What was your major?" They said, "Business." I said, "Wow, me too." "Were you guys in a fraternity?" They said, "Yes, Lambda Chi." In that moment, facing the Connecticut fans, screaming all around us, we had a decision to make. Where were we going to find our identity? In our tribal differences or in our shared identity? And it was in that bar, over a beer, we discovered there was much more that we shared than the differences that divided us. And I think it's the same is true for our own time in Georgia. There is so much we have in common if we would only remember it. If we would muster the courage to get over our differences and find common ground. I encourage you to break bread with someone on the other side of the aisle. Grab a beer, go out for barbecue, share a sweet tea. Remember what unifies us, for it is in these moments where understanding begins, and it's in the breaking of bread where our problems will begin to be solved. And there is much to be solved. Not just for me, not just for you, but for all of those who live in the great state of Georgia, and even for lamb chops and Delta oopses. Let's pray. Gracious and loving God, I ask for wisdom, guidance to be granted these public servants, that by your grace we might transcend the differences that divide us and remember the identity that unites us. May these servant leaders work for the common good of the state of Georgia, so that our communities may flourish and thrive for the betterment of all. Amen. Thank you very much.
Are there any unanimous consents? Does any senator wish to rise on a point of personal privilege? The chair would like to recognize the President Pro Tem of the Senate.
Thank you, Mr. President. Ladies and gentlemen of the Senate, it is a great day in Georgia. Sun is shining. And just remember, beauty is all the way through. I have two young ladies in the gallery that I'd like to introduce. First, Miss Courtney Smith. Please stand up, Courtney. Courtney is a graduate of Maynard Jackson High School, National Beta Club, cheerleader. She's in the Future Politicians of America Club, and she participates in Young Life. She will represent Georgia in the Miss Teen USA pageant in 2022, and she is inspired to be in pageants because she wants to represent young African-American girls and their potential. She's a USA National Junior Teen. She has an interest in law, political science, journalism, and she thinks she'd like to go to school at Duke, Tennessee, or University of Georgia. We also have in the gallery my longtime family friend, Holly Haynes. Holly is Miss Georgia. Please stand up, Holly. She is a longtime family friend. She is Miss Georgia. She graduated from North Gwinnett High School in Swanee. She's cum laude graduate at University of Georgia with a degree in marketing. She's a Young Life mentor, a leadership advancement fellow. She volunteers for Boys and Girls Club. She created an initiative called #IamEnough, which promotes the importance of instilling confidence and self-esteem in children and teenagers. She is the granddaughter of Bob and Sherry Tiller, and they are here in support of her, and her mom's here as well. Y'all stand up, y'all stand up. Before becoming Miss Georgia, she was Miss Harris County, Miss University of Georgia, Miss Buford, Miss Cobb County, Miss Coastal Georgia, and she will go on to represent Georgia in the Miss USA 2022 pageant. Let's give them a warm Senate welcome. Thank you all for being here. We are well represented. Thank you, young ladies, for your participation and your dedication. Mr. President, I yield the well.
Thank you, Senator. Chair recognizes the senator from the 53rd for a point of personal privilege.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just want to give you and everyone in the hall a reminder of Rules Committee and how it works. No negative here, but the leadership of that committee, that means me and Calvert and Lee Anderson, decide which bills go on the yellow sheet. Then the members of the committee decide which bills go to the floor. So if you have a bill that you must have either as a House member or a government affairs specialist out in the hall, I said that instead of saying lobbyist, please let your members of the Senate Rules Committee know. They're the valuable person through the end of session. So, Mr. President, I just want to give them a little playbook of how to get bills on the floor, and I yield the well. Thank you.
Chair recognizes the senator from the 33rd for a point of personal privilege.
Thank you, Mr. President, my fellow senators, colleagues, friends, and the rest of y'all. I just want to take a personal moment today to recognize personally a few members in my Senate delegation who will be moving on to future endeavors outside of the Senate. Senator from Senator Al, Senator Lester Jackson, and Senator Jen Jordan. I know I'm not supposed to say their names, but I can't see that far to remember their numbers. You know, public service is a special call. Many here, but very few, are able to answer that call and also serve with integrity. And not only just look out for themselves, but to have to think about their actions and how it affects many people. I remember as a Boy Scout, and you all saw me up here the other day with my Boy Scout uniform, when they placed me in a position of leadership, I had to think beyond myself. I had to think about how my actions affected the people, men and women, boys and girls who were under my leadership. And these three people have done an excellent job making that sacrifice, balancing family, profession, and working here in the Senate. I have some resolutions that I will be presenting to them personally. I know that as time goes on, later on, we're going to have a bigger ceremony, but I just wanted to personally take time out to thank them for their service, Senator Lester Jackson, Senator Michelle Isle, Senator Jen Jordan, and wish them Godspeed on their journey. Thank you so much, Mr. President. I yield the well.
Senator from the 35th, would you like to address the chamber from your seat? You want to come down? Come on. In fact, I'll let you be, you'll be on deck. I'll call upon the senator from the 29th, come down to the corner. I'll call upon the senator from the 29th for a point of personal privilege. You come on down to the corner. Thank you. Senator Anderson, would you help Senator to my seat?
Fellow senators, just kidding. I rise today for a point of personal privilege that is extremely important to me. Yesterday, while in Slogo, listening to several important pieces of legislation, I received a text message from my son, Wiley Randall Seth, who lives in Navarre Beach, Florida. And in his text message was two photos of my brand new granddaughter, who was born yesterday afternoon at around 4:22 on 3:22, 8 pounds even, Cora Grace Robertson. I tell you, I love my son tremendously. He fills my heart every day with his passion and his love for his family. But yesterday, that love was elevated more than I could imagine. Not only by the text message and the pride I could read in his words, but the conversation we had afterwards. And what an incredible father I know he already is, and the incredible father that I know he will be to Cora. And so, to my friends in the Senate, I thank those of you who have been praying about that. There was a little bit of difficulty with the pregnancy, but also it brings the needle back to where it belongs as to why we're here, and it's to take care of the smallest among us and those that we love the most. And so today, I'm sure I will go back to being the grumpy, ornery person that I am, but for a moment in time, I'm an extremely proud and happy grandfather. And thank you, Mr. President. I yield the well.
Congratulations. Chair recognizes the senator from the 35th for a point of personal privilege.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. President, and thank you, gentlemen. You know the saying that you are what you eat. And truly, that is a fact. So we did a resolution number 651, and I'd like to recognize the Eat Right Atlanta, who is up in the gallery, if you want to stand. Eat Right Atlanta was founded in Ellenwood, Georgia, and and it helps people in the surrounding areas of Atlanta. Eat Right Atlanta partnered with Children's Healthcare of Atlanta, Piedmont Healthcare, Wellstar Healthcare System, Gwinnett Medical, and Emory Healthcare. When you go into those hospitals, you see a table with fruit on it and vegetables, and that's who's responsible for it. So Eat Right Atlanta started with 7 customers and presently feeds over 400 families a week, including the hospitals. So Eat Right Atlanta is committed to providing fresh fruit and vegetables to our residents, especially during the time of COVID. They actually come to your house and leave the order on your steps. Eat Right Atlanta partners with My Style Matters to provide fresh vegetables and fruits to women who are undergoing treatment for cancer, to other kids who have autisms and other problems. Their families are provided with good food. And it has been supported by the Georgia agricultural economy by supporting local Georgia farmers. Dasha Johnson and Nicole Folks Johnson, through their company, Eat Right Atlanta, continue to take care of the residents of the state of Georgia by providing fresh and healthy foods at an affordable price to all who need it. And it was my honor to present this resolution to you, and you're right there. There are young people too who care about us, and they will. If you want food for your family and friends, you can talk to them, and they actually deliver in the metropolitan area and 6 other counties, I believe. So thank you for what you do. Thank you for all the times I was in the hospital and went in, and I came back with bags of fruit and vegetables and eggs and fresh everything that y'all were selling there to the nurses and doctors and patients. God bless you. Thank you, Mr. President. I yield the well. Let's give a warm welcome to all of them who are with you, too, your staff. That's who deliver it to the doors. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President. I yield the well.
Thank you, Senator. All right, we're going to move on. You've got a consent calendar of privilege resolutions before you. Does any senator wish to remove a resolution from the consent calendar? Is there objection to adoption of the resolutions on the consent calendar? The chair hears none, and the resolutions on the consent calendar are adopted. Are there any motions to withdraw and commit? You have a consent calendar of local bills before you, Mr. Secretary. Are there any objections filed to any bills on the local consent calendar?
Mr. President, there are no objections filed.
Is there objection to agreeing to the report of the Committee on State and Local Government, which is favorable to the passage of the bills on the local calendar? The chair hears none, and the report of the committee is agreed to. The questions on the passage of the bills on the local calendar. All those in favor vote yea, opposed nay. The Secretary will unlock the machine. For what purpose does the rules chairman rise?
Mr. President, wanted to move, I know it's too late for this bill, to excuse the senator from the 49th for business outside the Capitol.
I'll read that out momentarily. On the passage of the bills on the local calendar, the yeas are 43, the nays are 0, and the bills having received the requisite constitutional majority are therefore passed. Senator from the 53rd has asked for unanimous consent that the senator from the 49th be excused. Is there objection? Chair hears none, and the senator from the 49th is excused. We're now going to move on to the rules calendar. Mr. Secretary, can you please read the caption of Senate Resolution 507?
Senate Resolution 507 by Senator James of the 35th. A resolution recognizing and commending Carrie Coleman Benton, Curriculum Associates 2022 National Teacher of the Year, and for other purposes. Mr. President, the Senate Committee on Rules recommends that this resolution do pass. Respectfully submitted, Senator Mullis of the 53rd District Chairman. That completes the order, Mr. President.
Chair recognizes the senator from the 35th to speak to the resolution.
Thank you. Mr. President, I thank you. I am delighted to present Senate Resolution 507. It commends Carrie Coleman Bennett, who is our 2022 National Teacher of the Year. She has 18 years in education, and she now teaches the first grade at Stonewall Elementary School in my neighborhood, actually, where she has further participated in the National Junior Beta Club, the Safety Patrol, the IB, etc. She has won numerous awards, I think 4 times, as a Teacher of the Year for her school that she was representing prior to this one. So Ms. Coleman Benton, we appreciate you, and I ask all of you to vote yes on what I thought was a privileged resolution. And I would have had her here this morning, but I just found out that we are recognizing her this morning with Senate Resolution 507. I ask for your favorable consideration. Thank you.
Senator has yielded the well. Does any other senator wish to speak for or against Senate Resolution 507? The chair sees none. Is there objection to agreeing the report of the committee which is favorable to the adoption of the resolution? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Is there objection to the main question being ordered? The chair hears none, and the main question is ordered. Questions on the adoption of the resolution. All those in favor vote yea. Opposed, nay. The secretary will unlock the machine. On the adoption of the resolution, the yeas are 48, the nays are 0. This resolution, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore adopted. Ms. Secretary, can you please read the caption of House Bill 305?
House Bill 305 by Representatives Hawkins of the 27th and others, a bill to be entitled an act to amend Chapter 24A of Title 43 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to the practice of massage therapy so as to revise a definition, to revise a provision relating to continuing education requirements and for other purposes. Mr. President, the Senate Committee on Health and Human Services recommends that this bill do pass. Respectfully submitted, Senator Watson of the 1st District Chairman. That completes the order, Mr. President.
Chair recognizes the distinguished Rules Chairman to present the measure. There's already questions lining up.
Mr. President, look at him. This is House Bill 305. Now look at him was in honor of the senator from the 46. And this bill passed last year, and it went over to the House, and they didn't have time for it. And this is not about rub and tug. This is about professionally massage therapy. And this that you voted on last year I see there's some cheering already in the audience. Just simply. That wasn't funny. This simply, if I can get through this, requires massage therapists, education programs, and continuing education programs to be a certified massage therapist. This is a national certification, and anybody can just rub a neck or a back, but to be an official massage therapist, you have to have the right training before you can be one. Now, Mr. President, I could go on and on with this. In fact, I just feel good about this bill. So I would be delighted to answer any questions that this outstanding audience may have.
Chair recognizes the senator from the 56th to your left.
Thank you, Mr. President. Does the senator yield?
Yes, sir.
Senator, you seem very knowledgeable on this topic. Isn't it true that you yourself are considering the massage therapy arts as a future career?
It could be. I mean, I'm pretty good with my hands, and I'd be glad to consider such a thing. Do you have an opportunity for me? Or I can't ask questions. Go ahead.
Senator, would you further yield?
I'd be delighted to.
Isn't it true that this bill could be self-serving? You should excuse yourself, that you yourself want to be a massage therapist? Answer the question. Don't wait for the translation.
That could have a funny answer, but yes.
All right, Senator, last question.
Okay.
What is your preferred type of massage? Swedish massage? Just kind of give us an overview.
Well, to be honest with you, any and all is my favorite. However, I prefer to start at the bottom, the feet, and work your way up to other areas that may need some attention.
Chair recognizes the senator from the 19th.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senator, yield.
Indeed, Mr. Appropriations Chair.
Senator, I understand that you are looking to supplement any state appropriations that were needed from this through a public-private partnership, apparently sponsored by, is that Avino?
Excuse me. Yes.
Can you tell me, I can't read the other bottle, who's the other partner in this public-private partnership?
You yourself or I kind of thing. You know what I'm
It's
saying?
right there in front of you. Can you
I
tell
know.
us which
Oh,
one
you
it
talking
is?
about this?
Yes, sir. Avino is
Okay.
one. I can't read the other.
Well, it's a Vela Mocha
Oh.
flavor, and let's see. I can't see the brand, though. Bath and Body Works, one of my favorite venues.
Thank you, Senator.
That's a
Thank
big
you.
bubble bath.
I know, I had one last
Chair
night.
recognizes the senator from the
Senator
29th.
Uh-oh.
Does the senator yield?
Indeed.
Senator, are you aware of any curriculums that currently exist on a national level or state level that are used to certify massage therapists in the state of Georgia?
No,
So, does the senator further yield?
I do.
So, do you feel comfortable that the board would reach out and create a legitimate curriculum to make these environments where massages are given safer, not only for the customers using these services, but for the individuals who provide this service?
Yes, sir. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And does the senator further yield?
Yes, sir.
Are you familiar with any service providers of massages?
You know, your questions all sound real professional. And no, I'm not real familiar with that industry. I've only had hands-on in, myself, but I don't know about the industry.
Does Senator further yield?
Indeed.
Do you feel that by having this hands-on experience that allows you to call yourself a subject matter expert?
Indeed.
Thank you, Senator.
Thank you for the questions.
This job is harder than it looks.
I know. I'm scared.
You have no more questions.
Okay. Well, look, thank you for your attention to this important matter. The massage therapy industry, this is their number one issue, to make sure that things go well and that everybody has a happy ending. Thank you, Mr. President. I yield the way.
Chair recognizes the senator from the 20. He waves. Any other senator wish to speak for or against the measure? The chair sees none. Is there objection to agreeing to the report of the committee which is favorable to the passage of the bill? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Is there objection to the main question being ordered? The chair hears none, and the main question is ordered. Questions on the passage of the bill. All those in favor vote yea. Opposed, nay. The secretary will unlock the machine. I've never been so happy to get to a vote. On the passage of the bill, the yeas are 50, the nays are 1. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Mr. Secretary, can you please read the caption of House Bill 343?
House Bill 343 by Representatives Rhodes of the 120th and others. A bill to be entitled an act to amend Code Section 27-3-1 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to requirement of permission to hunt on lands of another, written permission, enforcement, and immunity of landowner from civil liability, so as to provide for a rebuttable presumption of violation of said code section by individuals in possession of hunting paraphernalia while on others' lands, to provide for related matters and for other purposes. Mr. President, the Senate Committee on Natural Resources and the Environment recommends that this bill do pass by substitute. Respectfully submitted, Senator Harper of the 7th District Chairman. Mr. President, the Senate Committee on Natural Resources and Environment offers the following substitute to House Bill 343, a bill to be entitled an act to amend Code Section 27-3-1 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to requirement of permission to hunt on the lands of another, written permission, enforcement, and immunity of landowner from civil liability, so as to revise penalties and for other purposes. That completes the order, Mr. President.
Chair recognizes the senator from the 8th to present the measure.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is a simple bill, House Bill 343. It just seeks to address a problem that is very commonplace in rural Georgia, and that is people that are caught poaching on private land. What the bill basically does is it increases the fine for the first offense from $500 to $975, and then the second and third offenses go from $1,000 to $2,000 and from $2,000 to $3,000. This bill is simply just trying to address a problem that affects landowners across the state. Be happy to take any questions if I have any.
You have no questions.
Thank you. I yield the well.
Somebody write that down. That just broke a record. Any other senator wish to speak for or against House Bill 343? The chair sees none. Is the questions on the adoption of the committee substitute? Is there objection to adoption of the committee substitute? Chair hears none, and the committee substitute is adopted. Is there objection to agreeing to the report of the committee which is favorable to the passage of the bill? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Is there objection to the main question being ordered? Chair hears none. The main question is ordered. The questions on the passage of the bill by substitute. All those in favor vote yea. Opposed, nay. Secretary will unlock the machine. On the pass of the bill, the yeas are 50, the nays are 0. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed by substitute. Ms. Secretary, can you please read the caption of House Bill 1011?
House Bill 1011 by Representatives Hogan of the 179th and others. A bill to be entitled an act to amend Chapter 8 of Title 40 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to equipment and inspection of motor vehicles so as to exempt low-speed vehicles from permitting requirements relating to amber strobe lights or emergency vehicle designation and for other purposes. Mr. President, the Senate Committee on Transportation recommends that this bill do pass. Respectfully submitted, Senator Ginn of the 47th District Chairman. That completes the order, Mr. President.
Chair recognizes the senator from the 3rd to present House Bill 1011.
Good morning. This bill extends the validity of permits for emergency lights to 5 years. Additionally, the bill provides that low-speed vehicles, like golf carts, are exempt from the requirement to have a permit for the use of an amber strobe light. The cost that they're paying now every year is $2, and the Department of Revenue and Department of Transportation are losing money to be able to get that. John?
You have no questions.
Great.
The senator has joyfully left the well. Does any other senator wish to speak to House Bill 1011? The chair sees none. Senator from the 3rd just broke the senator from the 8th's record. Shortest presentation. Is there objection to agreeing to the report of the committee which is favorable to the passage of the bill? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Is there objection to the main question being ordered? The chair hears none and the main question is ordered. Questions on the passage of the bill. All those in favor vote yea. Opposed nay. The secretary will unlock the machine. On the passage of the bill, the yeas are 44, the nays are 4. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Mr. Secretary, can you please read the caption of House Bill 1021?
House Bill 1021 by Representative Lumsden of the 12th and others. A bill to be entitled an act to amend Code Section 33-28-3 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to standard non-forfeiture provisions for individual deferred annuities so as to decrease the minimum non-forfeiture interest rate for individual deferred annuities from 1% to 0.15% and for other purposes. Mr. President, the Senate Committee on Insurance and Labor recommends that this bill do pass. Respectfully submitted, Senator Burke of the 11th District Chairman. That completes the order, Mr. President.
The chair recognizes the senator from the 11th to present House Bill 1021.
Thank you, Mr. President. Members of this body, House Bill 1021 is a measure that passed out of the Insurance Committee that lowers the base interest rate for deferred annuities from 1% to 0.15%. The problem with the current law is the interest rate base is such that there is no profit margin in offering these products, so the offerings have basically disappeared. So this is to try to get the annuity market to be more competitive in the state of Georgia. Appreciate your support. I'll be glad to answer your questions.
Doesn't appear to have any questions.
Thank you, Mr. President. I yield the well.
Does any other senator wish to speak for or against House Bill 1021? The chair sees none. Is there objection to agreeing with the report of the committee which is favorable to the passage of the bill? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Is there objection to the main question being ordered? Chair hears none. The main question is ordered. For what reason does the rules chairman wish to be recognized? Wrong button. Is there objection to the main question being ordered? The chair hears none. And the main question is ordered. Question on the passage of the bill. All those in favor vote yea. Opposed nay. Secretary will unlock the machine. On the passage of the bill, the yeas are 48, the nays are 1. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. We're on a roll here. Ms. Secretary, please read the caption of House Bill 1148.
House Bill 1148 by Representatives Rhodes of the 120th and others. A bill to be entitled an act to amend Code Section 27-5-2.1 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to possession of cervid carcasses so as to remove definitions, to amend which cervid parts may be brought in from outside of Georgia, to authorize the Department of National Resources to restrict the movement or transport of cervid carcasses or carcass parts upon detection of chronic wasting disease in certain places and for other purposes. Mr. President, the Senate Committee on Natural Resources and the Environment recommends that this bill do pass. Respectfully submitted, Senator Harper of the 7th District Chairman. That completes the order, Mr. President.
I sure hope somebody asks you what a cervid carcass is at some point. Chair recognizes the senator from the 7th to present House Bill 1148.
Thank you, Mr. President. Ladies and gentlemen of the Senate, House Bill 1148 is a department bill, but it simply does one thing. Under current law, you cannot bring a cervid carcass into our state from a state that has a documented case of CWD. This would change that to you could not bring a said carcass into our state from anywhere outside of our state unless it has been deboned. The reason for this is CWD is difficult to track before 18 to 24 months. And so it may be in a state that may have it and we not even know about it. And so that's the need for the change, and it gives the DNR the flexibility they need to ensure that we keep CWD out of our state and work to continue to do that. If there are no questions, Mr. President, I will yield the will.
You've got a question from your good friend, the senator from the 53rd.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senator Yield. Senator Yield.
I will yield to my good friend, the rules chair.
Indeed, and will be your good friend forever. Let me ask you something. You said that carcasses couldn't come into the state of Georgia unless they were deboned. Well, you know, in my district, isn't it true that I have Sand Mountain in my district? And Sand Mountain goes through Alabama and goes through Georgia. Now, if I'm deer hunting on Sand Mountain and I happen to shoot a deer in Alabama, do I have to have it deboned before I bring it to Georgia? Isn't that what you just said, though?
To my good friend.
Did you not just say that?
That is exactly what I said.
Okay, well, so I can't bring the deer into Georgia unless I debone it?
Unless you debone it or clean it.
Clean it, like give it a bath?
Yes, you can give it a bath. That would work. But where you separate the meat from the bone. You can bring the antlers back. You can bring the skull back, but it needs to be separated.
So if
You're going to have to ask him if he continues to yield.
You continue to yield.
I continue to yield.
Thank you, Mr. President. So, if I do go hunting, I didn't say hunting.
Are you going hunting or hunting?
I'm going hunting.
Okay.
Over in Alabama, which is on the border of my district.
Yes, sir.
So I would either have to sneak it in illegally or I'd have to debone it. Is that what you're saying?
That is, to my good friend, that is what I'm saying.
Okay. Well, you know how much I go deer hunting, so I just wanted to know.
Well, I will, to my good friend, I will tell you there is CWD cases have been found in northern Alabama, which is part of the reason we need to change our law to ensure CWD doesn't get into our state.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
You have no more questions.
Thank you, Mr. President. Yield the will.
Sure. You got one more. Last minute button. Chair recognizes the senator from the 36th.
Thank you, Mr. President. Does the senator yield?
I yield. Yes, ma'am.
If you could clear up for me some confusion that I have about lines 33 through 36. You're striking the language state having a documented case of a cervid infected with chronic wasting disease. But it seems to me that, isn't it true, when you substitute that language, you're in fact saying that it's unlawful for any person to possess a carcass or from any place outside of Georgia, but it doesn't mention the chronic wasting disease infection. So you're actually really limiting every carcass that crosses a state line, not just carcasses from places that we've identified chronic wasting disease.
Well,
and I mean, it may be an inadvertent Scribner's error, but this is my question.
So, to your question, that actually is the intent, and I'll explain why. I explained it briefly in my comments earlier. The issue is CWD, chronic wasting disease, is a significant issue, especially in the cervid population, the deer population. And what the problem is CWD can go undetected for 18 to 24 months. So there could be a state in the U.S. where you could go hunting, and you could take an animal and bring that animal back from that state, but that state has no documented case of CWD currently at that time. But because of the time frame of 18 to 24 months, they actually could have CWD and they not know it. So what the other states around the country have done this similar thing. Matter of fact, our bordering states have already done this. And so if you live in Alabama and you hunt in Georgia, and you take an animal here and then want to take it back to Alabama, you already have to do this by Alabama law. But what this is doing is ensuring that we're trying to make sure that we're not inadvertently bringing in carcasses that may be CWD positive. And CWD is 100% fatality rate, and the only way you can detect it or find it is once the animal is deceased. And you have to take brain matter and other matter to scientifically find it and see if that carcass even has it. So, and there's really no treatment for it currently. So this is just an effort to try to keep out any of that from coming into our state. We don't have any documented cases in Georgia. We want to keep it that way, and this is an intent to do that.
Thank you for your response, and this is a serious line of inquiry, and it's a
Yes,
serious situation. Isn't it true that this disease poses a great threat if it gets into our state of crossing over into our domestic stock? And that's part of the problem, that you can get a spread that really threatens our agricultural economy.
I will say that it's not beyond the realm of possibility. I will also say that my understanding is there is no documented cases that our DNR biologists or other biologists know of where it has been transmitted from the cervid or deer species to another species, or even transmitted from the animal population to the human population. We're not aware of any of that has happened, but there are possibilities, and that then things can happen. But to your point, This is an attempt to keep CWD out of the state of Georgia, and it gives DNR the tool and the resources they need to ensure that we're continuing to fight that battle and make sure it doesn't come to our state.
Thank you very much, and I'm in full support of the bill, and I think your explanation really cleared things up.
Thank you, Senator.
You have no more questions.
Thank you, Mr. President. I yield the will.
Does any other senator wish to speak for or against House Bill 1148? The chair sees none. Is there objection to agree on the report of the committee which is favorable to the passage of the bill? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Is there objection to the main question being ordered? The chair hears none, and the main question is ordered. Questions on the passage of the bill. All those in favor vote yea. Opposed, nay. The secretary will unlock the machine. On the passage of the bill, the yeas are 50, the nays are 1. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Mr. Secretary, can you please read the caption to House Bill 1195?
House Bill 1195 by Representative Lumsden of the 12th and others, a bill to be entitled an act to amend Chapter 85 of Title 36 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to interlocal risk management agencies and local government so as to provide that audits of funds may be conducted in accordance with statutory accounting principles and for other purposes. Mr. President, the Senate Committee on Insurance and Labor recommends that this bill do pass. Respectfully submitted, Senator Burke of the 11th District Chairman. That completes the order, Mr. President.
Chair recognizes the senator from the 20th to speak to the measure. You look nice anyway.
Thank you. Our tie's going to match. Thank you, Mr. President. Colleagues, I'm going to try to be brief with this important piece of legislation because I'm suffering from chronic weight gain disease, and it's almost lunchtime, so I'll be as quick with this as I can, but thorough. Georgia Code Section 36 through 85 applies to interlocal risk management agencies. There are currently only 2 of these operating in Georgia, one managed by the Georgia Municipal Association and the other by the Association of County Commissioners of Georgia. OCGA 3685-19 requires that the annual financial audits that are done by the insurance commissioner must be based on generally accepted accounting principles. Both of these agencies have been filing their quarterly reports to the Department of Insurance using a statutory accounting basis. This has been going on for a number of years, although the code says they need to use GAAP principles. So the Association of County Commissioners of Georgia and GMA would like to change the code to allow them to continue to report and do their financial audits with the insurance commissioner on a statutory accounting basis. And the Commissioner of Insurance is fine with this and is on board with us making this change just to really make the code agree with what's been done in practice for a number of years. If there are any questions, I'd be happy to try to answer them. Otherwise, I'll yield the well.
You don't appear to have any questions.
Thank you. I'd ask for a yes vote. Thank you. I'll yield the well.
Does any other senator wish to speak for or against the measure? The chair sees none. Is there objection to agreeing to the report of the committee which is favorable to the passage of the bill? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Is there objection to the main question being ordered? The chair hears none, and the main question is ordered. The question on the passage of the bill. All those in favor vote yea. Opposed, nay. The secretary will unlock the machine. What reason does the senator from the 17th rise? You pushed your neighbor's button.
Parliamentary inquiry.
State your inquiry.
Isn't it true the senator from the 16th had his button pushed but was not called upon?
I recognize the senator, not the desk. You're going to replace the rules chairman next year as on the passage of the bill, the yeas are 50, the nays are 1. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. The chair recognizes the distinguished superhero, Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. On Lupus Day, I move that the Senate stand adjourned until 10 a.m. on Friday, 25 March 2022.
Mr. Secretary, will you please inform the Senate where they'll spend the next 4 hours?
The Rules Committee will meet immediately upon adjournment in room 450 of the Capitol. The Health and Human Services Committee will meet in room 450 of the Capitol at 1 p.m. The Natural Resources and Environment Committee has been canceled. The Committee on Education and Youth will meet in 307 of the CLOB at 2 p.m. The Retirement Committee will meet in room 310 of the CLOB at 2 p.m. The Finance Committee will meet in Senate Mezzanine 1 at 3 p.m. The Health and Human Services Subcommittee on Mental Health Parity will meet in room 450 of the Capitol at 3 p.m. The Transportation Committee will meet in room 450 of the Capitol at 4 p.m. And the Ethics Committee will meet in room 307 of the CLOB at 5 p.m. That completes the order, Mr. President.
Let me add that there is a full day of committee meetings tomorrow. Please check the website.
Does any senator wish to make an announcement? The chair recognizes the senator from the 20th. You are worried about missing lunch today, aren't you?
The Senate Agriculture and Consumer Affairs Committee will meet tomorrow at 10 a.m., so please check the schedule. I think we're going to be in the mezz, but 10 a.m. tomorrow, Senate Ag and Consumer Affairs. Thank you.
The Majority Leader has moved that this Senate stand adjourned until Friday, March 25th, 2022 at 10 a.m. All those in favor of that motion signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. It's a tie. We'll give it to the ayes. The ayes have it, and the Senate stands adjourned.